Let's start this segment by taking a look at the front page of Daily Trust newspaper. Major story here is on the EFCC's largest single bust, where it says about 193 foreigners, 599 suspected Nigerian crypto fraudsters arrested. The experts are saying it's a weak systems responsible for fraudulent activities. This is according to, of course, experts. You find that on page 4. Below there is the pictorial of the suspects that were arrested for crypto fraud and romance scam by the operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the FCC, in Victoria Island, Lagos, recently. Now, this is huge. They seem to have an entire building, with this operation, and it happening in the country. Who knows for how long? Now, below there, we see confusion at CCT as Umar Kogo parade themselves as chairman. That you find on page 3. The federal government approves 2025 budget and shifts presentation to Wednesday. The FEC renames Uni Abuja Yakubu Gowon University. Security forces kill 8,034 terrorists in 2024. Below the headlines there, we see high food prices push inflation to 34.6%. On the sports, Lukman emerges Africa's best player. Nadozie remains the best goalkeeper. Now, this is a great news for us. Yesterday, there was so much prediction, but it happened. So congratulations to Nigeria. And also congratulations to the Media Trust Group as Daily Trust, Trust TV shine at the NMMA win 4 awards. Now, these are some of the stories that you'd find on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. All right, now let's look at Punch. On Punch there, we have boldly, FEC orders final adjustment as table presents on Wednesday. And then at the bottom, last signing won't dispute January-December cycle, says federal government. FEC okays budget after amendment. We still have tax reforms will promote equity, says Tinubu, and PCS promotes 11 police commissioners to AIG. On insecurity, Lakwara DHQ steps up intelligence gathering, plans special operation. And rising food prices drive inflation to 34.6% high. Those are the stories we have on the front pages of Punch. Do want to grab a copy if any story interests you to keep yourself informed. All right, let's just go to analyzing these front pages. We have in the studio Dr. Theophilus Abba, the Program Director of Daily Trust Foundation, joining us this morning. Good morning, Doctor.
Yes, good morning. Thank you.
Always a pleasure having you. Let's talk about this EFCC bust. I mean, EFCC, the anti-graft agency, have been doing the most this period, and we're giving them kudos. We saw, even though there's still a bit of lack of transparency when it comes to who owns the 700 and something duplex, from the EFCC, but then we're seeing them also make a huge arrest on fraudsters happening in the country that has been ruining our own country's reputation on the international level. What is your take on this?
Well, I think it's a major one for the EFCC because if you look at the Cyber Crimes Prevention Act, 2015, and with all the amendments, these are the kind of things that we expect the EFCC to be doing when you talk about using computers or, telephones or the internet to engage in criminal activities. So it's a major one because this time around we are looking at even the number of foreigners, 193 foreigners. Previously it used to be, we got students on this campus, we got some young boys in so city, we had a place that are training them to engage in cyber crime and all this and all that. But in this case, we are seeing as many as 193 foreigners. You see, this is what we call an organized crime. Right. Yeah. And then we should realize that these criminal activities is not only young Nigerians, because we tend to look at every young Nigerian as somebody who is doing Yahoo. Yeah. But then there is a higher layer. Now, if you are talking about foreigners being involved, these foreigners, they may have more IT skills. You understand? They may have access to information about those who have money, especially if they are cracking into somebody's account. You see so many Chinese are not they involved in these things. So this time it's like a breakthrough, for the EFCC. But then for those of us who are monitoring the situation, we have noticed that for every cyber crime activity committed by Nigeria, there were actually some foreigners who were behind them. And then on several occasions, we hear reports that they either arrested, they are released, arrested, and released. But this time around, it's a huge one. We are talking about over 600 persons, and 193 of them foreigners. And you can imagine what role they played, the kind of expertise they brought into the criminal activities. So I think that it's a major one. But then we will encourage EFCC to make sure that the prosecution is done diligently. Because now if it was a foreigner, the foreign embassies will come and say, well, what do we do? How do we settle this? And then if the investigation is not watertight, people start looking at the loopholes in the investigation. It's not true. There's not enough evidence. The evidence, he was only there by chance, and all those things will come up. So if you are going to investigate over 600 persons, you need to gather momentum because you need a lot of evidence. And these guys, it's not like you just saw them; they have some powers behind them, because there's no criminal activity that is done at the level of the foot soldiers. For every criminal activity, there's a power behind. So at this power behind, they may know some persons in higher places in Nigeria. So the EFCC, should go beyond, this announcement to do a thorough investigation. Want to see how these guys can be actually convicted. Want to see how they can be punished. Because they are punishing people, they are actually making life miserable for people. If they crack your account and they pull out money, it becomes
recently we saw someone crying out that they just wiped her account out in the country, and the experts are concerned about that weak system that you just made.
And then even we talk about crypto, as of today, cryptocurrency is done in the dark web. In Nigeria, it's not something that's in the open yet.
And because it's not transparent and open, a lot of people have little information about it, and people tend to fall prey. Based on the story we're seeing, these boys were trained. It was more like a training center. And actually, if you know about it, you would know that there's something wrong about it. So I think and I believe education is also a major challenge because we don't have enough information on that. But let's step that aside briefly now. The budget is to be presented on Wednesday tomorrow. What are your expectations?
We already know that we have 48 trillion naira budget. We already know that. But my own fear is that, the National Assembly will need time to scrutinize the budget. I don't know if that budget can be implemented on the 1st of January because I'm seeing that they have missed the timelines. For preparing a budget, it's not just like you just come and dump a document at the National Assembly and say, go and approve it. No, there are a sequence of activities. First of all, you need to have an objective. What is the objective of this budget? Then every agency of government is told that, this is the objective that we are running with. Then you must play your role in this area. So bring your activities that will help us achieve this objective. Then you now have to talk to stakeholders, and the sequence of activities. And these things shouldn't wait until the last minute. But what they are saying is like they waited until the last minute before they packed the document, took to effect and say, okay, we have 48 trillion, and now we are taking it to the National Assembly on Wednesday. The National Assembly needs not less than 3 months to look at this, because every committee will have to look at all the estimates from the agencies they oversee. And now the document is over 1,000 pages, for instance. Now, if a committee has to scrutinize every project in a ministry or MDA, they need time. They need time to look at them critically. They need time to look at even the projection. They need time to remove frivolities. They need time to to determine whether those projects are in line with the visions of the budget. Because the budget is actually a political statement to tell us this is where the government is going in 2025. There has to be time to do all those things. But now, today is 17, tomorrow is 18. So we have not up to 15 days to the end of the year, and you are bringing this document. And very soon, the National Assembly members will go on recess. So the budget will not be really debated until maybe January or sometime later, except they want to do the usual, anything that comes from the president is correct. So your rubber stamp, go, which does not help us as a country.
Indeed.
So that's actually my own observation, because the budget has to be scrutinized, because when the budget is passed, we hear CSOs the regional alarms and say, this is duplication, this is not supposed to be so, and that means that the National Assembly did not do a thorough job. So we expect that the National Assembly will do a thorough job and then ensure that everything that is in the budget is justifiable.
All right, moving on from that, let's talk about the high food inflation. The NBS released another statistics, and the inflation rate has garnered a lot of reaction. What's your take on the percentage, about 0.something% increment?
Well, the 0.70% is not just zero, because it's a lot of money. And we're looking at the cost of food, between December of 2023 and December of 2024, we are having about 100% increase in the price of rice. Last year, those of us who bought rice for Christmas bought about 50,000 or thereabout, but now it's 100,000. You understand? And it's not something that is palatable. Now, we thought that when the president said we're going to open the border to bring in food, it was not just a matter of bringing in food, but actually bringing down the price of food. From what we hear, although I've not been there, but what we hear, the price of rice, for instance, in Cotonou is not as high as the price of rice in Nigeria. So when you are bringing this rice to Nigeria, we expect that it will collapse, bring down the price. But then everything keeps going off. If you look at beans today, a mudu of beans today is about 2,500 or almost 3,000.
2,700, sir.
2,007.
3,700.
But you see, there has to be a way of bringing down the price of these things. And the easiest is actually to import. We face crisis in the area that we have famine in Nigeria. But then there are places where, famine, has been easier. Especially in some West African countries. If we say, okay, let's bring this thing from this country so that we will bring down the price, it's not a crime. The cost of food is very, very high. Actually, I don't think people like me, I don't buy any other thing apart from food. Because I don't buy new clothes. I cannot buy a phone.
And Nigerian said we can't afford to fall sick.
Okay, maybe health. Only the two things that I spend money on this, food and then fuel.
Yeah.
These are the only other things. So people have to live beyond that. Every day you are thinking only about what to eat. That's not how to live.
Yeah.
And the government must do something about it, because one, the value of the currency is so weak, and that is why everything is high. And this currency is not available. It's not as if the value is weak, so you don't get more of the naira. You don't get more of the naira. Something has to be done about it. I think the government is thinking that
I think we should
somehow the team will just people will just adjust. Yeah. But I don't think we'll be able to adjust to this gallop inflation that we're experiencing.
It's really
in Nigeria.
Scary, doctor. But then moving on, let's celebrate our little wins.
Exactly.
Let's celebrate our little wins. So we saw Lukman emerges as African best player. Yes. And Nnadozie also remains the best goalkeeper of the year. This is a win-win for us, and also Daily Trust, Trust TV shines, talking about Media Trust Group's win as well at the NMMA award. Last week we spoke about our wins in the Wale Soyinka award, and then this week. So it's been a win-win. So let's celebrate on that. What's your take? How are you feeling about this win, not only for Media Trust Group but Nigeria?
Okay, let me start from maybe Media Trust. If you look at it, if you won the Wale Soyinka award, then you won at DIM. Because DIM awarded Daily Trust as best design newspaper, and you are winning at NMMA. That means that you are consistently good. Because the judges, that decided who won this award were not the same set of people. The judges for the Wale Soyinka is quite different, and they are quite different from the judges of the DIM award and also from judges of NMMA. So it shows that there is a measure of consistency in the reporting that Daily Trust and Trust TV have done to merit this award. So I think it's let me use the word, an endorsement or a kind of validation of the quality of journalism that is done at the Daily Trust. And the foundation is at the back supporting this work.
We give you kudos.
Then if you talk of football, Lukman is quite brilliant. At times you just wonder the way he handles the ball. It's a bit scientific about the way he plays his ball, but a lot of precision. So I think He deserved that award. When I saw it yesterday, I said, no, this guy deserves that award.
Yeah, already Nigerians knew he was going to win because of how the
yes. If you look at the way he tackles, the precision, you know, back, you know.
I don't know that.
No, I think we'll just have to take a pause on that. Adeni would come on later on 360 Sports and give you details of that, how it happened, and do justice, because we have 50-50 chance of making that happen. But then, yes, thank you so much, Dr. Sheffield, for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
All right, with that, we draw the curtain on Daybreak Show this Tuesday morning. Appreciate you for sticking 2 hours of amazingness with us. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Do have a lovely Tuesday morning.
And I am Lilian Ogazi. Thank you for sticking around. Like she said, at the top of the hour, we'll have sports, we'll have business, and we'll have the news. Now, do not forget to keep yourself informed at all times. Confirm your news sources from the right sources. A Daily Trust is one very good one. Media Trust, Trust TV, all of us put together will give you the right source. Have a great day ahead. I am Lilian Ogazi. Bye for now.